Okay, imagine this. The roar of a stadium, the flash of celebratory fireworks. Just an incredible sound.
Yeah, that echo of victory, that raw crowd emotion,
Hmm.
it really sets the scene.
Exactly. And it sets the stage perfectly for our deep dive today. We're talking about the really historic FIFA Club World Cup 2025.
Mhm. A tournament that just wrapped up, leaving us with some truly unforgettable moments, both, on and off the field.
It really wasn't just another football tournament, was it?
No, not at all. And our mission here in this deep dive is to get beyond the headlines. We're going to unpack Chelsea's, unprecedented victory and what it really means for club football history.
And then we'll dig into the ambitious new format of the Club World Cup itself, look at the strategy behind it, the goals, and of course the huge economic impact.
Right. But we also need to look at the controversies. Because a change this big, it always brings pushback.
Definitely. So we'll be looking squarely at those intense debates, especially around player welfare.
And maybe even some, let's call them bizarre, unscripted moments during the trophy celebration that got everyone talking.
We've pulled together quite a bit for this official reports, match analyses, and actually some fascinating glimpses into fan reactions from online forums.
Yeah, so you should get a really well-rounded, kind of in-depth picture of the whole thing.
Okay, let's dive in.
Let's do it.
So that stadium roar we mentioned, it really belonged to Chelsea, didn't it? Their win, it wasn't just big, it felt genuinely historic.
It really did, especially going into that final at MetLife Stadium. Remember, PSG were the heavy favorites.
Oh yeah, reigning European champions, and they just hammered Real Madrid 4-0. Ruthless.
Exactly. And then you have Chelsea, a team that, let's not forget, stumbled in the group stage. They lost 3-1 to Flamengo.
Right. So for them to pull off a stunning 3-0 win in the final, it's quite the underdog story, really.
It absolutely was. And what stood out in that final was Chelsea's tactical approach. It was a masterclass.
Cole Palmer was just immense, wasn't he?
Instrumental. Scored 2 really clinical goals within 8 minutes in that first half.
8 minutes.
Yeah. And then he assisted João Pedro for the 3rd goal just before halftime. Sealed it early, basically.
And rightly got player of the tournament, the Golden Ball.
Yep. And Robert Sánchez got best goalkeeper, the Golden Glove, and Desiree Doué picked up best young player. Good recognition all round.
But this win for Chelsea, it was more than just this tournament, wasn't it? It cemented something pretty staggering.
That's the core of it. They became the first team ever to win every single international competition a European club can actually compete in.
Every single one. That's just hard to wrap your head around, especially the speed they've done it in.
Exactly. The timeline makes it astonishing. It's been this incredible 6-year rise. Since 2019, think about it. Chelsea have won the Champions League, the Europa League, the Conference League, and now both formats of the Club World Cup.
Let's break that down a bit. So 2019 Europa League final, they beat Arsenal.
Correct. Then 2 years later, 2021, they beat Manchester City in the Champions League final.
And went on to win the old-style Club World Cup that same year, beating Palmeiras 2-1.
Right. And then, just a couple of months ago, they made history by beating Real Betis 4-1 in the Conference League final, becoming the first team to win all 3 UEFA competitions.
And now they've conquered this brand new, massive 32-team Club World Cup.
It's an incredible run.
Looking at their record in finals, it's pretty exceptional. 7 wins out of 8 international finals since 2012.
And they're the only English club to have won the Club World Cup twice now.
Yeah.
That's a stat that really stands out.
So what does this signal for the club, especially under the newer ownership?
Well, I think it signals a definitive return to prominence for Chelsea under the Todd Boehly Clearlake Capital era. It really solidifies their place.
As one of the biggest clubs globally since the turn of the century.
Yeah, absolutely. It establishes a new kind of legacy, and remarkably quickly.
Okay, so Chelsea's dominance kind of sets the stage for discussing the tournament itself, because this new format is a massive change, isn't it? More than just tweaking things.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
It's transformed from that, modest annual event into this sprawling 32-team tournament.
Held every 4 years now, like a World Cup.
Exactly. A proper World Cup-style competition for clubs, which naturally makes you ask, what's FIFA's bigger picture here? What's their vision with this massive expansion?
Right. What are they trying to achieve?
Well, their stated objective is to narrow the technical gap between clubs from their 211 member associations. Basically, boost global competitiveness in club football.
And choosing the U.S. as host, that wasn't just random. presumably.
No, definitely strategic. It served as a test run for the 2026 World Cup, obviously.
Yeah.
But also, crucially, it was about expanding football's appeal in, let's say, relatively untapped markets like North America.
Okay, so one of FIFA's big aims was narrowing that technical gap. Did we actually see signs of that happening in the group stages? Any surprising results pointing that way?
We absolutely did. And honestly, it added a fantastic competitive layer right from the start.
Like what?
Well, you had Al Hilal knocking out Manchester City. That was huge.
Wow.
And Botafogo beating PSG, even Flamengo getting that win over Chelsea in their group match.
Right, I mentioned that earlier.
These kinds of upsets, they do suggest that the gap between regions might be shrinking. It adds, credibility to the whole idea of a truly global competition.
Okay, moving beyond the pitch. This tournament is undeniably a massive financial operation. A billion-dollar money game, as some are calling it.
That's not an exaggeration. The total prize pool hit $1 billion.
$1 billion. And Chelsea took home roughly, $114.6 million for winning.
Around that, yeah. But FIFA argues these participation fees are transformative, especially for clubs outside Europe. The idea is to help level the playing field.
But realistically, given the huge financial gaps already in world football, how much difference can this really make? Is it a genuine shift or just a bit of a boost?
That's the key question, isn't it? I mean, look, these fees are definitely a significant cash injection for many non-European clubs. It lets them invest in players, facilities, coaching.
Which they might not otherwise be able to do.
Exactly. But the deeper question is whether it leads to sustainable long-term growth. Or is it just a temporary uplift? True parity needs consistent investment over years, changes in youth development, things like that.
Right, not just a big payout every 4 years.
Precisely. We'll need to see in, say, 8 or 12 years if these clubs are consistently challenging more often. That'll be the real test.
So it's not just about the winners taking home cash, it's about distributing funds more widely.
That's a big part of FIFA's messaging. They stress the tournament is financially neutral,
Meaning
all revenue generated covers the costs, operations, prize money, solidarity payments, and importantly, there's an extra $250 million chunk specifically distributed to support club football development globally.
Okay.
That model is pretty central to their vision of a more balanced global game. And tied into that is the broadcasting deal.
Ah, yes, the DAZN deal. That was huge too, wasn't it?
A landmark deal, yeah. Valued at $1 billion. It ensured global free streaming for all 63 matches, which is massive for accessibility, and also significantly expands the reach of FIFA, plus their own platform. Getting eyeballs on the new product was key.
Okay, so that's the grand vision, the financial power behind it. But, as you said, big changes bring pushback. And this tournament has faced some really intense criticism. Player welfare seems to be top of the list.
Absolutely. That's been the most prominent criticism by far. The strain on an already jam-packed football calendar is immense.
Players already play nearly year-round.
Right. Almost 10 months of continuous club football for many. And then you drop this month-long high-intensity tournament right into their main rest period in the summer.
Effectively wiping out their break.
Pretty much. And that's raised serious alarms, understandably, about injury risks, burnout, fatigue, and just the long-term health impacts on players. What does this do to career lengths?
And the players themselves, through their unions, have pushed back hard.
Very hard. FIFPro, the Global Players Union, took the significant step of launching a legal claim against FIFA in Brussels.
What's their argument?
They're challenging FIFA's right to make these unilateral decisions about the international match calendar, specifically the Club World Cup scheduling. They argue it violates players' rights under the EU Charter of Fundamental Rights.
And potentially EU competition law, too.
Yes. They've accused FIFA, quite bluntly, of showing a lack of consideration for the mental and physical health of players. Strong words.
It wasn't just FIFPro either, was it? Managers, leagues?
No, the criticism was widespread. You had high-profile managers like Pep Guardiola speaking out. Richard Masters, the Premier League CEO, who also leads the World Leagues Forum, voiced strong opposition.
Criticizing the lack of consultation?
Lack of consultation, yeah, and warning about the potential damage to domestic leagues. The PFA, the English Players Union, even accused powerful bodies of treating players like commodities.
Oof.
And remember, Carlo Ancelotti initially hinted Real Madrid might boycott, though the club quickly clarified they would participate.
Right, which maybe shows the complex pressures clubs are under, too. So, faced with all this, how does FIFA defend the format?
Well, Arsene Wenger, who's FIFA's chief of global football development, has been the main voice defending it.
What's his counter-argument?
He emphasizes it's only once every 4 years. arguing that allows for significant recovery time between tournaments. He also points to advances in sports science.
Saying players can cope now.
Essentially, yes. Citing the long careers of stars like Messi and Ronaldo as evidence that, with proper care, players can manage demanding schedules. And crucially, he circles back to the global benefits, the exposure and financial boost for non-European clubs.
So a trade-off, in their view.
That seems to be the argument.
Were there other headaches for the organizers besides the player welfare debate, off-field stuff?
Yeah, there were definitely other challenges. They had issues with extreme weather thunderstorms, serious heat in some places, causing quite lengthy match delays.
Disruptive.
Very. And there were also some concerns, particularly early on, about attendances. Some group stage games had quite a lot of empty seats, less than half full in some cases.
Though the final pulled a big crowd.
Oh yeah, the final was packed.
Yeah.
Over 81,000 fans, which shows the appeal is there for the big showpiece event.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly to the moments that made this tournament, well, memorable in perhaps unexpected ways. The unscripted stuff.
Right.
And probably top of that list, certainly the most talked about, was the unexpected appearance of Donald Trump at the final trophy celebration.
Yeah, that certainly caused a stir. What's interesting is digging into the public reaction online. Places like Reddit.
What were people saying?
The descriptions were all over the place. Everything from bizarre, hilarious, cringe, shocking, unexpected. Someone even called it a fever dream.
A fever dream. Wow.
People were commenting on him sort of bouncing along with the players, apparently refusing to leave the stage.
And reports of booing when his picture was shown.
Yeah. Mentions of the crowd booing the Trump photo. There was definitely a mixed reaction in the stadium and online.
I saw some clips, and there seemed to be a real sense of awkwardness from some players. Reece James, Chelsea's captain.
Right. There were comments about him looking at Trump like, WTF are you doing here?
Yeah.
That kind of vibe.
And Cole Palmer?
His interaction was described as having zero emotion, just completely blank-faced, which in itself became a talking point.
Oh, okay.
And then you got the usual online speculation and humor, people joking about him maybe trying to pocket a gold medal, or that FIFA President Infantino was acting like his ballet.
So quite the sideshow.
Definitely. And look, regardless of anyone's personal politics or opinion on his appearance there, these kinds of unscripted moments, they undeniably become part of the tournament's story, its unique legacy.
They generate buzz, discussion globally.
Exactly. It just proves again that sports often deliver these moments completely outside the lines, stuff nobody could have predicted.
So, wrapping things up for this deep dive, the FIFA Club World Cup 2025 was clearly a really multi-layered event.
Absolutely. You had Chelsea's incredible sporting achievement, writing their name into history.
Alongside this ambitious, but yeah, quite controversial, expansion of the tournament itself.
Then there's the huge economic side, the promise of financial uplift, balanced against that intense debate over player welfare.
And finally, those totally surprising, unscripted moments that, for better or worse, made it truly memorable.
And understanding all those layers hopefully gives you a much richer picture than just looking at the final score or reading a quick headline.
It's that complex mix of sport, business, human impact, all on a global stage.
Exactly.
Which leaves us, perhaps, with a final thought for you to consider. As global football keeps evolving, keeps expanding, driven by both sporting ambition and, let's be honest, huge financial goals, what trade-offs are we, as fans, as stakeholders, willing to accept for the beautiful game?
Especially when it comes down to the well-being of the players themselves, the ones who actually make it all happen on the pitch.
Something to think about.